You may have previously watched a video I did about Madawaska, Maine this summer and crossing over into Edmunston, New Brunswick, Canada. And so this is a continuation of that day. And here is downtown Edmunston, New Brunswick. If you want more information on those towns, make sure to watch that video.
Hello from Canada. Definitely a new place to do some exploring, and like in the United States, I'm going to try to go and explore some of the more sparsely populated areas. Now, Canada is pretty sparsely populated anyways, but there are quite a few cities, especially in the lower part of Canada. And so I'm sitting here this morning. I had to get up really early. I'll tell you the story here. But I'm in the city of Rivière-du-Loup. I'm sure I'm going to butcher everything. Everything up here is French. And most people speak French. They're being nice because I definitely don't speak French. I took 2 years of French in high school. It had really never helped at all because it was like 30 years ago. So definitely not helping me. And I'm taking the ferry across the St. Lawrence River, which looks more like a Great Lake to me. But I'm sitting here early in the morning to get on the ferry to go across. Drove around the city a little bit and came actually down here to where, there's like a pier. It's a really beautiful city, about 20,000 people. And so it's a pretty cool little stop. Stayed in a little hotel. It's very nondescript little hotel called the Motel Express. And so I'm catching the ferry to get across the river to go through some other cities on the other side of the river to get to the starting point of Route 167. And Route 167 is going to take us up to our destination. It's going to be very, I don't know if rural is the right word, but wide open, very few dots on the map. Most people would go, get off this ferry and go south or west. I'm going to go west and then north, and hoping it yields some interesting places to check out. So let's get on this ferry and get across the river, and then we'll kind of zoom across this part of the early trip because it's a long drive to get to where I'm going. And I don't want to spend too much time exploring these towns. I'm sure there's some really cool towns in this area, but I'm going to get through that so I can get to the start of 167 so I can really head north. Pretty close, you could say. So it's about a 3-hour drive, 160, 170 miles from getting off the ferry there to where we're gonna start our trip. And we wanna certainly get out to the real desolate areas of Quebec and Canada here. And I know there's probably a lot of great small towns and even maybe a city or two along this part of the drive, and it's a super pretty drive so far. But we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna breeze through those because we do have just limited time to get to where we're going, and it's quite a drive. So let's go ahead and show you a little bit of this scenic part of the drive and get to Route 167.
This next part of the trip, we're on Highway 170, and you can see the little dots on the map, so maybe a couple places to check out, and we're going to take that on over to St-Félicien, and that's where we'll get on 167.
Some really interesting little towns as we're heading to our starting point. About halfway through it, it's hard to not stop and check these places out, so maybe someday I'll have to come back. But I was hungry, haven't eaten all day because I got up so early. There wasn't any food where I was at, and so I stopped at McDonald's. I haven't had McDonald's for I can't remember how long, but at least I knew what they had, and you can use like the automated ordering system. And I do remember the numbers from French class. So when they called out the numbers, I could hear and pick up my food. So anyways, good old McDonald's. Well, I've traveled for about 6 hours to get to my starting point of where I really want to start this video. I'm in the town or city of St-Félicien, and
I'm in a little park here. It's a nice little park. A lot of these towns I've been driving past are really nice. Would be fun to go back and explore some of them. And the point of this trip is to take Route 167, which starts here, and take it up to the town of Chibougamau, which I'm not 100% sure I said that right. Chibougamau or something like that. And there's really no towns or cities that I could find. Maps I have aren't very detailed, so maybe we'll find some things along the way. I think it's pretty wide open and lonely out there, and so we'll see. Filled up the tank of gas here and got a few snacks, and we'll be staying in a hotel there. Hopefully I don't have to stop and talk to anybody in French, because I've been embarrassed a few times already on this trip trying to communicate with somebody. So the Google Translate has helped out a couple times on my phone. So but yeah, let's get started. Let's get to the start of 167 and see if we can find anything, or if it's just wide open roads all the way to Chibougamau. And we continue our drive on 167. You can see there's not much along this road all the way up to our destination.
that way and go 40 kilometers to Club Colonial. I don't think I want to do that. There really isn't a lot to stop and see along this route, but it's really beautiful. The roads are good, so it's an easy drive. There's a lot of water, so whether lakes or rivers, and sometimes it's hard to know what if it's a lake or a river because just there's a lot of them. And the trees are kind of, you know, right in front of the water. So you see like, oh, there's water right there, but there's a bunch of trees right there. So it's been a really nice drive, but there's not a lot to find except for when I went a little bit off the route and, you know, found whatever that was. Driving by and saw this back here, not sure what it is. Obviously abandoned. Might not be abandoned, I'm not sure. Nobody here today. Interesting, and the trees over there. Maybe it's a ghost town of some sort.
I've made it to my destination and to the hotel that shares the town's name. Pretty nice little hotel. Little room, but it's plenty for my needs. And it's a nice little town. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to explore it a little bit, but it's got a nice little downtown area and need to get some food, and I'm gonna get some rest because I was up early this morning. And so definitely looking forward to a good night's sleep. I don't have to get up so early tomorrow. I'm gonna head back west and a little bit south to on another road that should be pretty wide open. So we'll see how that goes. Today there wasn't a whole lot to see once I got to 167, but it's still a beautiful drive, amazing drive, and really easy, kind of an easy drive. So I wasn't sure driving this far north how it would be. I'm sure in the winter there can be some pretty rough weather and the roads can get pretty bad, but in the middle of summer, even with the rain that we had today, wasn't too bad at all. Hey, thanks for making it all the way to the end of that video. And since you're here, let me tell you a little bit more about the extras on the channel. One of the first things you can do is become a member. There are 3 levels of support. There's supporter, producer, and executive producer levels. All 3 have different levels of fun incentives and perks. If you haven't done so, please check out travelwiththewiseguy.com. There are lots of extras on there to explore. One of them is merchandise. We have Travel with the Wise Guy coffee mugs, Death Go Round t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and all sorts of fun things to show your support of this channel. Also on the website is a custom Google map. I've dropped pins in every place I've visited and linked the episode to each location. This seems to be a very popular feature for many of you. Also, sign up for my free newsletter that goes out about once a month. There are all sorts of links and tidbits on this page, old videos, podcasts, and just about everything I can think of I throw on the website. Get all that information on travelwiththewiseguy.com. Now for the real reason you're here, the outtakes.
So online it said to get to the ferry 90 minutes early. And I mean, everybody got here 90 minutes early. Like, everybody that's here got here early. And we just sit here for a while. So I guess it's like airplane where, you know, they say get there 2 hours early. And then you just got to sit there waiting to get on the ferry. So you could have easily driven down to Quebec City and around. And but this is more fun, right? How often do you get to take a ferry when you're from where I'm from? So it's more about the unique way to get across this river.
But the point of this video is to take Route 167, and we're going to take it all the way up to the town of Chibougamau.